Good. Happy Thursday morning, August 12th, 2021. I'm Riley King. Welcome to this morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. Let's get started right now. First up, suspicious death in Nashua under investigation, Attorney General Office says. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Lost River Gorge and Boulder Caves is one of New Hampshire's greatest natural wonders and an unforgettable adventure.
Breaking news right now as we come on the air at 11. The Attorney General's office is investigating a suspicious death on Hanover Street in Nashua. Authorities say an adult male was found dead in an apartment. You can see it was wrapped with crime scene tape this afternoon. Officials have not released the name of the victim or any potential suspects. We are working to get more information and will update you as soon as we learn more.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. New Hampshire health officials discuss newly released CDC guidance with K-12 administrators. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Lost River Gorge and Boulder Caves is one of New Hampshire's greatest natural wonders, and it
State health officials are recommending universal masking indoors for schools in counties with substantial community transmission, which right now is most of New Hampshire, or in schools with larger outbreaks or multiple clusters. But there could be exceptions for schools with higher vaccination rates, universal testing programs, or strictly enforced measures like physical distancing. Masking would be optional in areas with low or moderate transmission.
Knowing that the level of COVID in the community is going to directly impact what happens in school and child care programs.
State epidemiologist Dr. Benjamin Chan says public health officials cannot legally require masking and other safety measures. New Hampshire is no longer under a state of emergency, so it is up to each district to decide. He says because the Delta variant is twice as contagious as previous strains, the vaccination rate now needs to go up to at least 80% to achieve herd immunity.
Achieving high levels of vaccination among eligible children, students, families, communities is probably the most important action that people can take to protect their own health and help end the pandemic.
Until then, Dr. Chan says the first line of defense is making sure anyone with new symptoms stays home and gets tested, even if they are vaccinated. He cited 9 outbreaks in childcare since the beginning of July, infecting more than 80 children and staff, often starting with someone who thought they just had a cold.
We are in the midst of a pandemic, and there is no such thing as a usual cold.
Dr. Chan is encouraging districts to sign up for a regular asymptomatic testing program called NH Safer at School screening. He says it can be used to test students if there is a cluster or outbreak.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. CDC urges pregnant women to get COVID-19 vaccine. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Lost River Gorge and Boulder Caves is one of New Hampshire's greatest natural wonders and an
The CDC is echoing top obstetrician groups urging pregnant women to get vaccinated.
For the health of the mother, for the health of the developing baby, getting protected from COVID-19 through a vaccine is really one of the most effective things that you can do.
The CDC says about 23% of pregnant women have at least one dose, and that research shows no increased risk of miscarriage for those who receive at least one dose of Pfizer or Moderna before 20 weeks of pregnancy.
We have promoted or encouraged our patients to receive the vaccine, and we're meeting it with some resistance, which I can understand if something is new.
Dr. Kelly Macmillan, chair of obstetrics and gynecology at St. Joseph Hospital in Nashua, has cared for pregnant patients with COVID, including a premature delivery due to infection.
If someone is able to get the immunization, meaning they've never had an allergic reaction to the immunization in the past, I would strongly encourage it pretty much at any time. There have not been cases where someone has had a higher chance of a miscarriage or a birth defect as a result of receiving the vaccine. And if you are at risk, getting it as soon as possible.
And Dr. Macmillan strongly recommends pregnant patients speak to their doctors for an individual vaccine recommendation. Live in the studio, Jean Mackin, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Easter Seals employee charged with sexually assaulting a 17-year-old residential student. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In today's competitive real estate market, buyers and sellers need the experience and guidance of a realtor.
In Manchester, an Easter Seals employee is facing felony charges tonight for allegedly sexually assaulting a residential student. Police say 45-year-old Lisa Tangway initially gave the 17-year-old victim special treatment and gifts, and it escalated into sexual assault. The victim told police the assaults happened more than once over a period of several months. In a statement to News 9, Easter Seals says, quote, "The safety and health of the individuals in our care is a top priority for us. Easter Seals has been cooperating with law enforcement and cannot comment as this is an ongoing investigation at this time."
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Seabrook man allegedly assaulted two preteens, attempted luring them into apartment, officials say. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
In today's competitive real estate market, buyers and sellers need the experience and guidance of a realtor more.
57-year-old Scott Dunn of Seabrook faces 2 felony second-degree assault charges and 2 simple assault involving 2 girls under the age of 13 in separate incidents that allegedly took place inside the Rockingham Village apartment complex.
It's not believed at this time that anyone actually entered any of the apartments, but there was an attempt to lure the juveniles into the apartments.
Police say the investigation began July 28th after a preteen told her mother Dunn squeezed her hand so tight it hurt, and then squeezed and bruised her arm as he tried to pull her in. According to court documents, she and a friend got away as Dunn allegedly said, "Come on, I'm not a serial killer." During the investigation, police say they learned of another alleged incident where Dunn allegedly inappropriately touched another child under 13 and made a sexual remark. The judge ruling he be held without bail for now.
Real concern about is there a risk of physical assault and is there a risk of sexual assault towards children?
Dunn's defense lawyer says he vehemently denies the charges.
Yes, ma'am. It's important for parents to tell their children about the dangers of dealing with strangers and people that they don't know and people that they don't feel safe around.
At the time of his arrest, Dunn was out on bail for another unrelated charge. Seabrook police are asking anyone with any information to contact them. Live in Seabrook, Jennifer Crompton, WMUR News.
Okay, and there you go on that video and that report. Anti-vaccine mandate protesters gather in Concord as lawmakers call for a special session. Let's take a listen to that video from WMUR News 9.
Plymouth Ford is now new car Ford of Plymouth. That's right, Plymouth Ford is now new.
The anti-COVID-19 vaccine movement may not have large numbers, but it is vocal and visible. These protesters have been setting up camp outside local hospitals, decrying vaccine mandates. Parallel efforts are emerging at the State House in Concord, where some Republican state reps are calling for a special session to prevent schools from implementing mask mandates. Representative Sue DeLamas is wary of a special session, but says there shouldn't be any mandatory masking.
We all should be able to live free or die here in New Hampshire, and we live here because we love the state. We love our motto. We love having our freedoms, and that's part of actually being American.
House Majority Leader Jason Osborne says he opposes mask mandates, but points out there's a delicate balance here due to New Hampshire's emphasis on local control in education. He tells News 9, quote, "The best solution will be if the local communities can resolve this themselves without involving the legislature." Meantime, on the other side of the aisle, it's an entirely different world. House Democrats are still fighting in court for remote access to legislative sessions for immune-compromised reps.
With my health situation, it's fairly clear to me that if I were to get COVID, I might survive. I also might not. And long-term COVID is also not a picnic.
Some of the few lawmakers who are also doctors say there is one simple message for their fellow Granite Staters.
The number one message for everyone in New Hampshire is there is no reason at this point, medically, I'm a physician, I'm Dr. Sherman, there is no reason you should not be vaccinated unless your doctor feels that it's medically inappropriate.
In Concord, Adam Sexton, WMUR, News 9.
Okay, and there you go on that video in that report. And that does it for this morning news update right here on the Riley King Radio Network. I hope you all have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you back here later on today for another news update. Goodbye, everyone.